Would you buy a 1998 Ford Escort for $24,000? That's what this lady did. She's gonna be paying $289 a month for the next 7 years for a car that's worth $1,000 to $2,000 tops. What's up, Doomers? If you're a millennial or Zoomer looking for a car right now, no doubt you're frustrated. Car prices were predicted to fall in 2023, but instead they're picking back up. Let's take a look at the 2015 Mitsubishi Mirage. The car is almost 10 years at this point, and it's kind of trash. So a perfect starter car. Plug it into any value estimator, and it'll tell you it's around $3,000 to $6,000, you know, depending on mileage and accidents and all that, but that's around the ballpark. So why, when I log on to Carvana, it's selling for an average of $10,000 to $12,000? The MSRP for the Mirage DE was $12,995, and this guy is selling it for $12,990. Cool, so after 8 years, it depreciated a whole $5, but that's on the low end. On the high end, prices are even more inflated. Does Ford really expect me to pay $100K for an F-150? Gen Z has the worst credit score and the highest growing credit card debt out of all the generations. With record high inflation, increased cost of living, and low salaries, do manufacturers and dealerships really expect people to be able to afford these cars? And do banks really expect people to be able to pay these loans back? Let's look at some stats. The first indicator that people can't afford to pay for their cars is that people can't afford to pay for their cars. Loan delinquencies are at their highest rate since February 2009, and defaults are also on the rise. Paying $1,000 for your car is becoming more and more common. But like, for who? The monopoly man? The average person can't afford that, and now dealerships are inflated with overpriced inventory that isn't selling, but they're not lowering the price. Americans borrowed an average of $41,000 for new vehicles and $28,000 for used. All I'm saying is that the average cost of horses. Auto loan debt is the third highest after mortgages and student loans, and a growing number of auto loans are also now upside down. What upside down means is that you're paying for value that no longer exists. Let's say you took out a $20,000 loan for a car that's now worth $12,500. So you have $7,500 in negative equity. You now have to pay $7,500 for a value that doesn't exist anymore. The longer the term length of your loan and the higher interest rates are, the more likely this is to happen. And guess what? Interest rates are going up, and so are term lengths. Auto loan rejection rates will also continue to tick up, reducing the amount of people that can actually take out a loan to get a new car. But everyone's holding out for when those prices eventually drop, right? Then we can stick it to the man, you know, stick it to all those dealers and manufacturers and banks that pump those prices up. And while yes, when prices drop, it will hurt them. I mean, dealerships can go out of business because of this, but it's also going to hurt the consumer. Lower prices means more upside down loans as the value goes down. But what if I told you that might not exactly happen? Like, yeah, prices will go down, but not as much as you think. We're not going to get a huge negative 30% decrease in car prices. JP Morgan research wrote that prices are only expected to decline by roughly 10% for used cars and by 2.5 to 5% for new cars. For a lot of Americans, that's still going to be unaffordable. And no, it's not because of the chip shortage or supply chain issues or the pandemic. I mean, those are definitely factors, but car manufacturers are realizing that profit margins on quality are a lot better than quantity. There's trends that suggest that the US is becoming a luxury car market, in which cars are only available for upper class buyers. From December 2017 to December 2022, sales of new cars under $25,000 dropped 78%. And in December 2022, there were only 10 models with MSRPs under $25K. Nissan cut production of one of its cheapest cars, the Nissan Versa, by 78% while boosting production of more expensive models such as the Altima or Pathfinder. And instead of carrying 60 to 100 days of inventory, manufacturers are now trying to carry half that, intentionally trying to keep inventory low. Nearly 30% of the market for cars now is from households with annual incomes of more than $150,000. Rising oil prices, high inflation, and cost of living might make cars unaffordable for a lot of people. And in a car-centric country like the US, not being able to move can severely hamper your quality of life. But if you're wondering what can replace a car, well, in India, less than 8% of households have cars. So I hope you're ready for scooters. Thank you for watching, and if you want more daily doomers, please consider liking and subscribing.